think it was last week that we had responded to the SEC's request for information around our Bitcoin filing, and we responded. And that's basically all we can say. I think many people think the fact that the SEC chose to ask questions is a change in behavior. And therefore, I do think hopes are rising that or a number of Bitcoin ETFs will be approved.
Hey guys, welcome back to Everyday Finance. In this video, Cathie would discuss about Bitcoin. Cathie Wood says, it was made public and told last week that we had answered the question for information about our Bitcoin filing. We responded, and that's about all we can say. I think a lot of people think the fact that the SEC chose to ask questions is a change in behavior. Because of this, I do think there are rising hopes that one or more Bitcoin ETFs will be approved. I think that's why they're saying by the end of the year or early next year. Our final deadline is January 10th, and I think we're first in line. As you say, a number of Bitcoin ETFs could be approved at the same time. If you remember, huge amounts of money came into our accounts in late 2021 and early 2012, and I was nervous because I thought there was a lot of momentum chasing going on. At the time, we said, keep some powder dry. Little did we know how big the correction would be. This is sort of the flip side of that. We're feeling much more comfortable now, but we did have a very significant rally through July. I do think there's some profit-taking going on. I agree with what you say about interest rates. A lot of people are worried about rising rates. There has been a move into cash, and more recently, a move into bonds. Interestingly, the flows into bonds suggest that we shouldn't be too far behind. This is because if bonds are going to rally, which we think they will at some point here as inflation continues to fall, and lots of things Cathie would discuss. So please watch the video to end, and like, share, subscribe our channel Everyday Finance. Thanks.
Well, it was publicized and disclosed, I think it was last week that we had responded to the SEC's request for information around our Bitcoin filing, and we responded, and that's basically all we can say. I think many people think the fact that the SEC chose to ask questions is a change in behavior, and therefore I do think hopes are rising that or a number of Bitcoin ETFs will be approved.
Yeah, my understanding is
Right. And I do believe maybe the reason they're saying by the end of the year, early next year, I know our final deadline on this filing is January 10th. And so, and I think we're first in line. But as you say, a number of Bitcoin ETFs could be approved at the same time. Well, I think there are a couple of things going on. If you'll remember, in late 20 and early 21, the flows were enormous into our funds, and I was uncomfortable at the time because we thought there was a lot of momentum chasing going on, and we said at that time, keep some powder dry. Little did we know how big the correction would be. This is sort of the flip side of that. We're feeling much more comfortable right now. But we did have, through July, a very significant rally. I do think there's been some profit taking there. And I do think, as you say, interest rates, rising rates have concerned a lot of people. There's been a shift into cash, and we've seen very recently a shift into bonds. And interestingly, the flows into bonds would suggest that we should not be far behind, because if bonds are going to rally, and we think they will at some point here, as inflation continues to come down, as the economy continues to go through rolling recessions of sorts, we think that the backdrop will be right for a resurgence in growth stocks generally, and in particular, long duration innovation growth assets like ours. I don't, and we don't, I should say. If we're paying attention to company earnings, and some of these are companies we're exposed to, others not, you'll see at both the high end and the low end of the consumer spectrum in terms of price points. You've got Domino's saying, hey, it's really weak out there, we've got to do more promotional activity. And you've got LVMH, same thing. Both of those happened last week. We're paying attention to company reports, and I understand the economic statistics are volatile and showing strength and then weakness. We're paying attention to our companies, and it does seem like the consumer is starting to give way here. We own it in our specialized funds. We've taken it down everywhere, and this is portfolio management. We see NVIDIA. You might say it is less expensive than Tesla. We think the upside surprises on Tesla during the next 5 years, and remember we have a 5-year investment time horizon, are going to be substantially more than NVIDIA's, mostly because most analysts do not believe that autonomous as a taxi platform for Tesla is going to be a part of the story. We disagree. And with that, we see incredible revenue and margin expansion. NVIDIA's margins are already quite high, having entered the 70s, the gross margins. Tesla's are in the 20s, and we think they will scale into the 60s and 70s as autonomous takes off. So Tesla, we believe, is the biggest AI project, or autonomous driving is the biggest AI project in the world. NVIDIA has been critical to providing the infrastructure to enable this and so many other things to happen. All praises to NVIDIA. We think that a lot of people understand how important NVIDIA is in this ecosystem, and they do not understand how much each dollar of hardware spent is going to pull software through. We think it's on the order of 20 times. So we think NVIDIA is going to be a good stock. We think the stocks in our portfolio, and we've written a paper on artificial intelligence. It's titled Investing in Artificial Intelligence, Where Will Equity Values Surface? You can read that on ark-funds.com and see how we're a really good diversification into this AI world. Many think that the winners are going to be the megatech companies who have had such strong performance over the years. We are not sure. We are not sure. ChatGPT could be the best thing that ever happened to Google, and that it lit a fire under Google to get its own AI into the market more profoundly. Or it could be the worst thing, in that it's going to lose its advertising franchise if we're all just on ChatGPT looking for our answers.